zero to really getting yourself set up with Google+. We're going to give you examples. We're going to walk through a bunch of the stuff. As you can see, it's being videotaped, so the video will be online after this is over. So you can go watch it again if you want. There's also an ebook that I'll be sending you that has all this information on it. So you don't really have to take notes. Just listen, think of questions, interact, and all of the details are going to be in the ebook for you. So you really don't have to jot too many notes down. But if you want to, you have all the slides right there so that you can remember what we talked about. Okay?
One problem.
What's that?
I can't see it.
It's right up there.
Oh.
There it is.
Need more light?
Yeah, why don't we turn the overheads a little bit so that they get a little overhead light in without the glare. Okay, these are today's topics. I always like to have a list at the beginning of saying, okay, this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to talk about what is Google+, just in the basics, so that you have a basic understanding of it. We're going to compare Facebook and Google+ a little bit so that if you've done some Facebook, you can have some sort of measure as to say, why would I do Facebook versus Google+, or why would I do both, and that kind of a thing. We're going to create a business page. We're going to walk through the whole steps of creating a business page. So we're going to get rid of that mystery for you so that you really understand what it is you're going to be doing and what you expect to have happening. And then we're going to finish up by talking about strategies for using Google+. In other words, okay, I got my page set up. I know what it supposedly does. Now, what do I do? Okay, so we're going to talk about the now, what do I do? Okay, as we go through this, raise your hand anytime you have a question. If you have a suggestion, if you've done something on Google+ already and you want to add something, please feel free. These are our seminar sponsors. Obviously, we appreciate you thanking the Oceanside Chamber for the use of the facilities, SonicSpider, and Create Computer Network, Rachel here. Okay, what is Google+? Now, one of the first things that people think of when Google+ was introduced was, oh, this is going to be another Facebook. Wrong. Google+ still wants to organize the world's information, but they want to do it now in a personal way. So we're taking Google and we're personalizing it. We're socializing it. And that's their concept. Google is not a product. It is not a product or an application like Facebook. Though it does many similar things, it is not a product out there. It is Google taking those social media ideas and integrating it as an initiative into all of the things that Google does. Okay, so it's going to be built into everything Google. That's an advantage for you as a business. By getting involved in Google+, you are integrating yourself into all of Google on a social level. Google is about enhancing all of what Google does to be social. Matter of fact, they have, if you walk into Google, there's this big mural before you go up the stairs. I'm told, I saw a picture of it. And it's this big wave. It's called the Emerald Wave. And that's their social media concept. They're going to, like a tsunami over all of their products, they're going to turn everything into social media. So Google Plus is not a Facebook killer. Though, you got to realize that somebody at Google, it might happen. You know, they're not against the idea, but that's not what they're trying to do. Okay, the parts of Google+. This is sort of like the terminology you need to get used to. In Google, you have what are called circles. Circles is kind of a key concept. It's like when we compare it with Facebook, we'll compare between Facebook and Google these different parts. So we'll get to that. But in Google, these are special interest groups. Groups that you create for interacting with people you know, your contacts, your business contacts, your personal contacts, your family. You can now keep them very separate. That's a problem in Facebook. Google is starting right off the bat, allowing you to separate all of these interest groups. Okay, Hangouts is basically they're giving you online meeting tools for free. You know, before you had to buy to do video chat, now it's built right into Google+. So you can get several people on a video chat going, regardless of what kind of tools they're going to have. They're going to have tools for the Android and iPod and iPhone and everything. Yes.
So in order to do all of that, does everybody have to have a Gmail account that's involved with any of this?
They encourage that, but no, you don't have to. But they do encourage that. And I will encourage you to do that too, but I'll tell you why. Okay? There's a reason why, other than something else. And the way I have it set up, they can have it actually go to your regular email account, so it's cool. Okay, Huddle is group texting. Kids are going to love this. They can text 5 people simultaneously and get a 5 or 10 person chat thing going on. Now those tools do exist out there, but they're trying to build it right into their system as a cross-platform group texting solution. This would be good for a business that is working with a team of people on a project, where you want to have everybody in the team sharing ideas quickly. Let's say you're an event planner, okay, and you want to have everybody that's involved in your event planning on the same page. So you can do one of these group texting and keep this ongoing chat or a group text. Hey, you got that ready yet? Oh, hey, I'm coming, you know. You can keep that, and everybody gets posted at exactly the same time. Sparks is another interesting concept. Basically, we all go on the web and do searches. How would you like it if that search was permanently saved and existed as an ongoing list? When something else became part of that search, it would suddenly appear. In other words, you would get the current postings of anything within that search as an ongoing feed to you. Interesting concept, especially if you want to monitor trends and monitor things that are happening in an industry. You could actually do a search that gives you that information, save it, and have it being updated for you automatically. So all you have to do is look at it and go, ah, there's 2 more people that posted on this idea. I didn't have to go out and remember to do that. It's a really cool idea in terms of keeping up with certain concepts, ideas, themes, and trends on an automatic basis. So that's Sparks. So those are the basic pieces that they're starting out with. Okay, let's look at each piece in a little more detail. Circles. It's a interest group of contacts based on some criteria. It can be friends, buddies, family, but if you're a business, it also can be special groups of customers that you want to keep track of, and special groups of customers that you want to talk to and send out material to on a regular basis. It could be a project that you're working on, so that everybody involved in that project's in that circle, so that you can interact with them. You can automatically drop that circle into Huddle, and you're texting everybody. You know, just by dropping the circle into Huddle, you've automatically contacted everybody, and away you go. So it's a way of grouping people as special interests. And we're going to talk later on how Google is going to make use of this for their purposes. And that's going to be interesting too. The last thing is easier to separate personal and business. One of the problems that you have on Facebook is keeping your personal and business separated. They're constantly overlapping on the timeline. If you post something personal, it shows up in your business timeline if you're not careful. So you have to really work at keeping them separate. Google has it set up so it's really easy to keep them separate. You can have this personal thing going on in one circle and business going on over here. And never the twain shall meet. Unless you want it to meet. Hangouts, online video chat. A lot of things that are going on in business where you like to have a little FaceTime. It's a little more personal. It's a good way to develop connections with people rather than just talking on the phone. This allows you to have that video conferencing built right into your system. You just take a circle, drop it into your Hangout, and everybody gets contacted. Just boom. It's like a list. And then you all get online and you can chat. And like I said, use a circle. So circles is a foundational kind of component in Google+. Same thing with Huddle. Same kind of an aspect, and platform independent is important. So it doesn't matter whether the people you're working with is on Androids or iPhones or just on their computer. You can interact with them. You don't need special tools. Each of those kinds of concepts exist. Like if you're an iPhone user, you can group text to anybody else that has an iPhone. So This allows you to cross those barriers that normally are a problem with different tools. And we talked about this a little bit already. Special interest searches, ongoing, auto-refreshing, really good way to monitor trends, issues, and market ideas. Okay, now let's compare Google and Facebook real quick. I kind of hinted at it, but now we're going to kind of compare and contrast. On the left here in blue is Google, and on the right in black is Facebook. Okay, Google, as I said, starts out with special interest grouping, circles, is not a product but initiative, and is metrics for measuring search value. Now that's how Google is using it. They're actually using all of this activity to measure value of the things you talk about. We'll get into more detail on that later. Facebook, everything centers around status updates and timelines. It's all about you posting something, a video, a picture, content, and that's showing up on a timeline. And the other important concept is friends and fans. Whereas in Google, there's no friends and fans. It's whatever you want it to be. You're not locked into friends and fans. You define it yourself. Okay? And it is a product application. Groups was added on top of all of that. So it kind of sometimes doesn't fit. Whereas on Google, it's the other way around. Groups are first, and everything comes from the groups. So it's kind of the reverse of Facebook. Okay, and there's a reason they did it that way. For their own purposes, of course. Not just to be a nice guy. Any questions so far? Pause a minute. Okay, good. Because I get going 100 miles an hour here, so you have to stop me. Okay? Okay, Google is an initiative, like I said, and the idea is from Google's point of view, and so you really have to understand what Google's getting out of all this, because that's how you learn to leverage it. You can't leverage something unless you understand what it is they're trying to do. If you don't, you may be kind of spitting against the wind, as we say on the farm. There's other more colorful sayings, but that's the nice one. Basically, what they're trying to do is support their search and ranking of resources. They're trying to get you to put value on different links and videos and user-defined content, and that allows them to create recommendations. The second one, this allows them to put social value in the form of interests and recommendations. So when you bring up a search, you'll see somebody in your circle recommended it. So that made it personal, because you can see how many of people that you interact with recommended that item. Google's going to integrate those so that you see those recommendations. And you can roll your mouse over and see actually who recommended it. So that makes those things more valuable to you, right? It's like when somebody recommends a business, that makes that a more valuable content. So now this is going to work for you in the search engine. When somebody recommends your business, that's going to show up there, and that makes clicking you more valuable if there's a recommendation. If there's no recommendation, they're more likely to select the one with recommendations. So that adds value to you as a business, and it adds value to Google because people are more likely to use it because they want to see that. Yes?
Does it actually impact the search engine ranking?
It will. We'll get to that, but yes, it will. Well, I'll get to that. Okay, it adds user-generated content. This is a big, this idea right here, user-generated content, is like the core of social media. That's one of the defining things about social media, is that the users generate the content. Okay, when you think of social media, that's the key. So, it adds user-generated content to search results. So now Google's pulling all of that user-generated content into the search results so that when you see a link or a resource, you're going to get comments below it that you can click and get people's comments right there in the search engine. So from Google's point of view, this is cool, okay? And the last thing, possible new ranking algorithms that include. You got to remember, Google Plus is an initiative and it's just beginning. Google has made a commitment to literally put a huge amount of their resources, and believe they got a lot of resources, on this. So it's going to be changing constantly. Everything that I say today will be outdated in a couple of months. Okay? I guarantee that. In other words, I'll have to rewrite this if I do this 2 months to 3 months from now. Okay? So it's going to be changing fast, so you pay attention if you're going to get involved. It's a changing thing as they add these things. I don't think you're going to see so much things going away as you're going to see enhancements and additions piling on top of this as they find new ways to expand these concepts. Why should I do Google Plus? It's always a good question. You got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got all these things out there. What should I do for my business? Basically, because this is Google, do you really want to improve your search engine rankings? I mean, even if they haven't come out and put it on big sign yet, you've got to know that this is going to happen. That all of this is going to somehow tie into search engine optimization rankings. Okay? Because Google is the leading search engine. They're like 90-something% of the market, right? And it's to their benefit and yours to add social enhancements to your listings, to enhance your listings as they show up in Google with the various comments, recommendations. All those things are going to make your listing more valuable and more clickable, which means regardless of where you are on that first page, if you get there, you're more likely to get clicked if there's recommendations there from people that are connected to you. Yes?
How about just the opposite? What if there's people put negative comments?
Oh, that's always the danger, you know?
And they
The
get
minute
stay
you...
on there permanently? They're just as there as the positive ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the good news is this, and the bad news is that. You know, you're gonna have to be careful. You're living in a small town once again. Yes.
Do they rank them by entry date?
We'll get to the patent on that. We'll be talking the actual patent
Okay.
that they're working on. So I don't know the answer to that yet, and they're not gonna tell you the answer to that, but I'll tell you what the patent is that they just purchased, that they just applied for last year, and that will tell you, that will give you some good guesses. And you can go actually read the patent and see what, basically, they patented what they're gonna do, in my opinion. So you'll be able to kind of see it. We'll talk about it a little bit. Obviously, the details aren't there.
It should be sort of obvious that customer testimonials will come this way. And how many of us try to get good testimonials and shy away from bad ones, right?
Okay, any questions on what Google is? Because now we're going to create our business page. We're going to walk through that process, okay? And remember, the ebook has all the little pictures and instructions, so we're going to kind of give you a default feeling of how this goes, and then the ebook's going to actually walk you through it step by step. You can just say, okay, do that, do this, and away you go. And you'll walk right through it, yes.
Yeah, those Facebook ads, anything equivalent in Google Plus?
I'm sure there will be right now.
No.
Right. Yeah, Google is trying to get their core, their big purpose right now is the user-generated content, which I mentioned earlier. That's their big push, and then of course, as Google always does, there's going to end up being ads tied into all this at some point. Okay, we've broken it down to the 3 steps. Our first step is we're going to do a business-oriented Gmail account, and that's where we're going to cover the Gmail issue. And step 2 is we're going to create the basic page using that account. And step 3 is we're going to start the conversation, as they say. And we're going to talk about several of the pieces that you're going to use to start that conversation. Okay. The general Gmail account. What you want to do, since you're going at this from a business point of view. Now, you may already have a Gmail account. Forget that for now. Set that aside. You're not going to use it. You're going to create a business account that has a name that's part of your company. In other words, it's not going to be you. It's not going to be Susie Q at Gmail account. It's going to be my marketing company or my bag company or, you know, whatever. My bag company team.gmail.com. In other words, it's going to be a general Gmail account for your company. Yes.
And by the way, it's still really open, so I just created one that is my company name.
I already have.
How many places can you do that?
Purebags@gmail.com is my Gmail account.
And you're all set.
Very good.
Anyway, that's the idea. You want to make it part of your business. This will be the hub of your business page, is this business Gmail account, okay? Then, unfortunately, and I don't know why they do this, they really want you to put a name in there as part of the setup. So you're going to put a name, and they're kind of picky about it, that it looks like a real name. So you can make up a name if you want, but they're going to go, eep, it doesn't sound like that good of a name. So it's got to be a name. You can't use, like, I tried Sonic for a first name and Spider as a second name, and they didn't like that because who's going to have a first name of Sonic? Who's going to have a last name of Spider? So that was definitely on their eat list, you know. But I tried it anyway because I wanted to see what I could get away with. So you do have to use a real name. Typically, an owner of the company, a major member of your corporation, you know, something like that. You can hide that name, so it's kind of irrelevant. But during the setup process, you do have to come up with a name. Here is where you can tie your other email in here. Okay? You get a chance to put the other email in. That could be the email that specifically goes to your personal account, so that you get those feeds from everything that gets posted there as well. So it's kind of like a behind-the-scenes extra email account. Okay?
That's not seen by people going.
That's not seen by people. That's hidden, right? Or you can make it visible, but you can also hide it. The recommendation is to hide it for the moment, unless you have a reason not to. You need an address, profile picture, most likely your business logo, not your mugshot, unless you're doing a business that really takes advantage of your mugshot. And that's very possible. You could have a very intimate kind of business that you as a person are the brand. So in that case, yeah, you would put your picture up there. But other than that, you would use your company logo.
Very popular with real estate and that sort of thing, obviously for business cards. And
So yeah, it's possible, but you don't have to. You can just be your business logo. Okay, now we're going to create the page, step 2. First thing you do when you click the button to create a page is you're going to select one of these choices. Local business, so you can see based on their choices that they're really, Google is right off the bat interested in businesses, organizations, arts types things. They're really interested in this being oriented not to the person, individual, but in terms of some entity. Okay? So you select one of these, and the business profile basics are very simple. A tagline and a photo or a logo. And you're done. That was easy. Okay? So you're all ready to go. Well, not really. You've got a lot of work to do, but at least you got the shell going. Okay, so this is what you're going to see, your profile basics. I wrote down my tagline. I used my logo that looks better than that when it's actually up. For some reason, they expanded a lot. And you can change your profile photo anytime. And then down here is the page that says create page. Pretty straightforward. There's a whole bunch of other settings that you can set if you really want to. All about, what's your favorite whatever, and your philosophy of life, and all those kinds of questions. But as a business, that may be important or not, depending on your business. So you can either leave them blank, or you can fill them in, depending on how the value that is to your business. Okay, so we got our page. We're all set up, ready to go. But it's kind of like throwing a party, but not telling anybody where the party's at. So now we're going to tell everybody where it's at. The first thing you have to have is content, because nobody's going to come and want to link to you or follow you if you don't have something for them to follow. So you got to start thinking of your content. You also they have way and types of techniques of connecting this to your website. Types of badges, connecting strategies, and we'll talk about those. And of course, building your circles. You have your personal circles, you have your business circles. So those are now separate. There are going to be 2 separate buckets now. Okay? We're going to use these to do these in the beginning. But once you get the ball rolling, then you're not going to do anything more with your personal settings unless you want to do that on a personal level, and you're going to focus on your business circles.
Unlimited circles?
I think the limit right now is like 50 or something circles. Yeah, there is a limit.
But it's high.
But it's high, yeah. Okay, so how do you do all this? Okay, here's the page that you see after you get started. This is sort of going to be your focal point for a while, this page, because these are the things you're going to use to start off. This up in the corner is called Getting Started page. And so if you get kind of lost of what to do next, click Getting Started. And it'll get you here, and you can see all the places to go. So this is kind of going to be your hub in the beginning until you get used to everything. And we're going to start doing some of these things, okay? Right here today. Okay, we're going to post some content. So when you click post some content, when you click the post, you're going to get this. Looks very Spartan. Okay, if you roll over this, you can add a photo, you can add a video, or you can add a link. Okay? Or you can just type something in, and that's it. So you have 4 choices of what you can do here at this point. Okay? And they always keep this going over here. At some point, you're going to click this button. Okay, but not yet. You've got to have something to promote. You can't promote it until you've got stuff there. Okay, I've thrown some resources in there. I threw a video in there. I linked to one of our ebooks right here that actually goes to the ebook page. And Google, wonderful Google, they found the image on that page and stuck it in there for me. It's really cool. I didn't have to do that. So Google's really good at searching those things out for you when you put them in there and putting them right up there for you. So they did it all for me. When I clicked this, I went to YouTube, found my video, clicked it, boom, there it is, all ready to go. So it didn't take any technical knowledge whatsoever. Yes.
If they put something on there that maybe you decide later you don't want on there, do you have control over that?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, no, you can get rid of it.
Okay,
You're in complete control. New things.
it's not an illusion.
Right.
Is duplicate content a problem? Do you already have the content on a blog?
With this, you can link that content in there, so it's technically not duplicate content, it's just another link to it. In fact, that's what I would recommend you doing, is
We'll actually pull the content in.
bringing that content in, so it's not, in other words, that image is still sitting on YouTube, that video. I'm not dropping the actual video there, I am linking to YouTube, and it's created a YouTube link right there, and so it's still part of my whole YouTube channel. So I'm not duplicating content, I'm reusing and redirecting content. Okay? This will give me an opportunity for people that come to like it, to click it, which adds to my rankings of that resource on YouTube, and on and on. Okay? So this is a good way to build your the value of that video or that ebook or that post or that link and that page. Okay, so this is a good way to tie those things in and bring more people to it. And therefore, you're going to get the search engine rankings boost. Okay, you got some posts. Good start. But now you're going to want to build your circles. Okay, so how do you get that? It's kind of like a bootstrap method here. How do you get that started? One of the little gotchas on the page that you need to remember, so to say it to yourself 10 times, is that you can't put people in your circle until they put you in their circle. Okay? It's kind of like a chicken and egg kind of thing. Now, that's not true with your personal circles. In your personal circles, you can just put people in there willy-nilly. Okay, so, solution. Go back to your personal part of your account. That's back to the original Google account that you created in the beginning. That's kind of considered your personal part, your base account. And there, you can add people just willy-nilly. Just start collecting people. Go to your client list, go to any place you've got emails, and if the email exists somewhere, Google will link to it and show you the face. I mean, it's kind of amazing, but if they can find that person, they do. Okay, if that person already has a Google account, they'll link their Google account right in there for you automatically.
So if you're looking for people to add into your circles, do you need to provide just a name, or do you need to provide their email address as well?
You can start with a name, and if that name links to a Gmail account or a Google Plus account, you got
But if they don't,
then you have to, your
Then
only
you
other
can't.
handle is an email account.
you individually have to input email accounts.
For now, I'm hoping that we have an import type.
There's not an import option yet.
Not yet. Believe me, I thought of that already.
Tie-in.
Yes.
So, it has a way of checking your other email accounts like Yahoo or.
Matter of fact, they have a screen where you can actually find people, where you can go to Yahoo, you go to all these different
Okay,
services.
so I have 12 years worth of emails that I've sent to various people or have emailed me because I have had posts online for 12 years.
Mhm.
And so I want to make use of 12 years of emails.
Mhm.
Will this go through all of my 12 years of past emails and add those emails?
Not in that way, no, because that's not something that's public knowledge. Google wouldn't have that as public knowledge. What Google would have is the email addresses.
Right, that's what I mean, the email addresses.
Right.
So I have 12 years worth of email addresses.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can add that into my circle.
Right. To your base account.
Right.
So, okay, so when you start building your circles in your base account, okay, that's step one. Okay, so you first do that. Then you're going to turn around and use that base account to invite those people to check out your page. Okay, you're going to actually send them a little, hey, I got my new Gmail page here for my business. Please come over and follow me. Okay, now you need at least 10 people to sort of get the action going. So I think you can all come up with 10 people. So that's sort of critical point where they think you're serious, okay? It's a pretty low bar, I think. I think they kept it real low at first here because this is the beginning. But you got 10 people. I think you all have 10 people. Okay, so you invite those people and they come and they link to your page. They follow your page, okay? And they add themselves to one of your circles. So when they click follow, a drop-down list and all the circles you created that are public, you can hide them too. All the public circles you created will drop down and they'll select the ones they want. They can select 1, 2, 3, just put check boxes for you. So they can actually put themselves in several of your circles. You can come back later and manage them, get rid of some and move them around if you want. But the point is they can put themselves. And at the beginning, you can just have one circle available called follow. That's a good way to start, okay? Then, once they have followed you, they will show up on your business page circle list, and now you can drag and drop them into your circles. Okay, because they are following your business page, you now can put them in your circle. So that's how you close the loop. Okay? Any questions on that? That's kind of a critical step. Now they do have some other techniques too. So this isn't the only way. There's some little more direct, in other words, you can just literally type in a list of email addresses and send it without putting them in their circles and stuff. So you can do that too. Okay? So if you don't want to put people in your circles first, you want to just send them out and see who's going to respond, a comma delimited list. You can create that over here and cut and paste it in there. And it'll send out to that. So that's one way you can automate it a little bit. There's a screen for that. So here's the beginning of, this is your
That's what you want to do.
step 3 base account circles. This is what you're going to see when you start off. This is haven't been used yet picture. These are the ones you get automatically following customers, VIP team members. You can change those, you can edit them, you can delete them, do anything with them. That's just what they give you to start. If you want to create a circle, right there. Okay? So this is your base account. Here is where you can add a whole list, is right here. Okay, you can just paste. You can tell them, hey, come over and check out my page right here, and you can paste your comma delimited list of email addresses right here. Point, it'll expand as you drop it. So this is the other technique, okay? You haven't put them into circles, you're instead doing a direct blast out to these people, okay? This is like technique number 2. Once these people have connected to you, then they'll show up and you can start dragging them. This is actually, this is the technique, the first technique where I actually added people to my circles. So this is technique number one, where I added people in my circles. These are people that didn't have a Gmail, Google Plus account yet, so your picture didn't show up. But these other people did have Gmail accounts and their pictures showed up. So it automatically found their pictures. Yes?
Can you still drag and drop the people who do not have Gmail accounts or Google Plus accounts into
Oh,
your
yeah,
circles?
Yeah. Any of these people you can drag in. Even if they don't have an account, you can just pop.
And if you were to send out that comma delimited list to people, to individuals that did not have Gmail accounts, what would the message be that they received to their email address? Something like,
This. Your comment here, that's your message. And it'll have the name of your page, whatever your name.
and then
your
I'm
page is.
inviting them to join, and then would they need to then opt in and actually create a Gmail account, or could they opt in without
They can opt in without.
with their regular account?
Rich joined one of my circles and he hadn't done anything yet, he just went and joined.
Okay.
So we tested that.
And I later did it. Question, when it's a common delimited list, they don't violate the First Amendment and send all the twos out on one line, do they? In other words, when you have a two, it's just two each person in the list, not two with several email
Yeah, I
addresses.
don't know how they're handling in the back, but I imagine they are sending an individual email out. That's what it appeared when I tested it. And that's how I would have done it if I was programming it, but I can't.
I believe that's right. I don't remember seeing a multitude of twos in
Yeah,
the email.
because I used this technique in my original test to
Right.
you guys, so. Okay, so we're back to that. So, now, this is Melanie, one of the members of our company. She responded right away, because she has a Google Plus account, so her picture showed up here. So I dragged her into team members, and so that's what you would do next. Once they follow, you can drag them and put them into the various circles. So that would be the next step. This is my page. This is not my base account, this is the actual business page circle. So you have two sets of circles, keep that in mind. Don't get them confused. You have kind of your base account, that's attached to your Gmail, and then you have your page, which sits on top of that. Okay? And they're two sets of separate circles. Okay. I'm drying up. Almost done. Yes.
Can you put people into multiple circles
Oh, yeah. The same person in every circle. Yeah.
and set up hierarchies of circles so that you can kind of,
No, there isn't hierarchy. They're separate circles, but yeah, you can drag the same person into 3 or 4 different circles.
So they don't disappear when you drag them in.
That list stays up there.
Okay.
Right.
Better not disappear me.
Okay, badge. The next step is creating your badge that you put on your website. Okay, this is an important step. There's a little trick going on that Google's going to be using. Eventually, and actually it's already working for certain select people, if you put plus and then the name of the company, guess what magic happens? Google will send that person directly to your Google Plus page. Just boom, there they are. It's going to be a direct link from the Google search engine to your page, just by putting a plus in front of your company name.
Could you repeat that again, please?
You put a plus in front of your company name in the Google search. And once you've done all this, and Google's got it set up for everybody, that person, when they do that, they go plus SonicSpider. They will go directly to my Google Plus page. So it's like a direct link hit to my page. Right.
So if you wanted to search for SonicSpider's Google Plus page,
But plus
plus,
SonicSpider.
but if you didn't do the plus, what would you put in?
If you didn't do the plus, you would just get their normal search. The normal search for SonicSpider. If you put the plus in front of it, you will go directly to the page. Do not stop, go, do not collect $200. Boom, there you are. Guess what, you can do that on all kinds of links, right? You can create a link like that. Boom, okay. Anyway, that's coming, and it already works for selected companies, right? Plus, I think Pepsi was their example. You go right to the Pepsi Google Plus page or something like that. I didn't try it, but that was one of the examples in the documentation. Okay, so you have two strategies for your badge. Of course, in order to get that little plus trick to work for you, one of the things you have to do is put a badge on your website. That's the kicker. And of course, then Google someday will index your site, which you want to do sooner than later. When they see it, then they're going to start adding you to their magic search. Okay? So, and that's the following badge. There's two badges. There's a sharing badge and a following badge, and they are not labeled that way. Okay? Keep in mind, they're not labeled that way. So I'm going to explain to you what they do so you can get a clue as to which one you're doing. One's a follow and one's a share. Sharing links your website to their stream, and following adds them to your business page circle. Totally different things. They actually look almost identical. Okay? One of the things you're going to do a lot as you go forward is using your page ID, and of course I'll show you where to find that. You're going to want to keep that because you're going to use that to bring them directly to your page, and so you can put that as a link throughout and add that to other social media packages like, I don't know, have you ever tried to use addthis.com? You should go try it. Go addthis.com. It's a neat little tool that you can add a plethora of social media links all in one package onto your website. Boom. And they have a whole bunch, they have a whole tool that helps you do all the sharing and following badges.
What's it called?
Addthis.com.
Is it kind of like Hootsuite?
I'm not familiar with them.
Oh,
It's an
It's
aggregator of, you can, manage multiple media from it, multiple social.
Yeah, this creates a little cluster of buttons.
I did try it, because you know what, somebody sent it to me about 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember much about it. But they just said, can you believe this? Look at it. And then I looked at it and I said, well, I'm surprised somebody could think of that before. That's great.
Yeah, it's a whole tool for collecting and managing all of your social media buttons in one package. They have one you can put on a static website, they have one you can log into WordPress and Joomla and Drupal and a whole bunch of different tools. So they have these little snippets you can.
So will SonicSpider be one of those that they add? Is that considered a social media?
No, I would put it on the social.
I'm sorry, not SonicSpider, Google Plus.
Right, Google Plus is already added in there, and all these tools that I'm talking about, they have their own little tool for helping you do that and add it to their aggregate, okay? And you will need the page ID. I guess the reason I got to that is because I was talking about the page ID. You will need your page ID to make that work. Okay, so when you get to addthis.com, you need to have your page ID, otherwise you're not going to be able to do all. Okay? Okay. Just a quick admin. There's not a whole lot of admin right now, but you can add managers, which is for a business. That's good. You may have somebody doing some work for you and you want them to be managing your business page. So you can add them, you can invite them as a manager. The owner can remove the manager, other managers can remove other managers, so that's going to be a nice little fight. Notice that only the owner can delete the page. And you can transfer ownership, so that's kind of cool. You can move the ownership over. That's a good thing. And take actions on behalf of the page. Okay, so this is kind of the way the managers. You can have multiple managers that can do things on your page. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you manage multiple pages?
Okay,
Under-
you want.
From one dashboard.
From one
Basically, it's on
account?
that core account that we created. You can add multiple pages. Yes. Okay. Now let's talk about some business strategies. Okay, and also in the ebook is a whole detailed list of what to do with these badges. Okay, we're not going to get into it now because we're kind of running out of time. but there's a whole detailed list of how you create each badge and what settings are. That's all in the ebook, okay? Detailed pictures, instructions, the whole thing. Spent a lot of time doing it. So it should help you get started, okay? And if I told you now, you'd probably forget it anyway, so it's better that it's in the ebook. But there is instructions on how to do that. Okay, so we're going to wrap this kind of up talking about the business strategies of using Google+. One of the key things is targeting your message to subgroups, your circles. These are your subgroups. Being able to zero in on different groups and send them certain messages and tie them into chat type things, video conferences, and sending out email blasts to them and showing them content and whatever else you want to do. Okay? Next big strategy is you want to build recommendations and comments on your stream for people coming in so that those recommendations show up in Google search. Like all social media, you want to build user-generated content. You want people to come in and chat and comment on your resources and say, hey, I really like that. That's a neat link. It's really valuable. All that adds the recommendations of that link, which then shows up on Google search, which then improves your ranking and improves your perceived value. And of course, building brand loyalty is always one of your goals. Okay? So, this is what we did today. Took me 5 minutes longer than it was supposed to, but hold on. I can only talk so fast. We talked about what Google was, we compared Facebook and Google, and we talked about why you would use Google+. We created a business page. We told you about some ways of adding Google to your website. There's 2 basic techniques, follow and share, and the details of that are in the ebook. And then we went through some basic strategies, which are appropriate for most any social media, but we try to target them for Google Plus and how will be appropriate for Google Plus. Okay? Okay, do you have any other questions or discussion that you want to go through?
You mentioned that we had filed for a patent. That'd be
Oh, yes, I did.
And he remembered.
And he remembered, okay. Yeah, they filed, they just filed for a patent on May 5th of last year, and the title of that patent was ranking, so in my ebook there's a whole section on that. The title was Ranking User-Generated Content, that's the title of the patent. And basically it went through a list of how one would rank user-generated content and what kind of signals, and that's a big Google word. If you're into SEO, you'll know the word signals. Basically, it's just a criteria. We computer geeks like to come up with new words for things just to make it sound special. And I think that's true of any segment of anything, whether it's engineers or whether it's SEO people or whether it's people who are into dolls or cars. I mean, we all build our own terminology. But in the SEO world, it's called signals. And so they talked about how these different signals in there of these various comments would add value or not add value to that particular comment that it was made on, and how they would parse that out. This will help you eventually, if they start implementing, help you understand what's going to be a good comment and what's not going to be a good comment, and how it's going to add value to the actual resource that was commented on. Okay? And that indicates that Google is intending on using that user-generated content to build value of various resources. When I say resources, I'm talking about links, actual page content like an article, videos, and just website content. Content sitting on a website. Okay, so those are resources. Okay? So as people comment on those resources, user-generated content, that's what those comments are, those feedbacks. Google will come up with an algorithm, I don't know if they have yet, I bet they're working on it, to actually take those comments and measure the value of what they're commenting on so that they can use that to move you in the rankings.
In Facebook, is that what EdgeRank is supposed to do?
Within Facebook, yes.
Within Facebook.
Yeah, within Facebook, it's the same concept. Facebook has something very similar to that. They call EdgeRank, which we talked about here at various other meetings. But Google's actually filed a patent on this concept and called it, so. Yeah.
You may have said this already, but how do we get a hold of your ebook?
I will be sending it out through the meetup.com. I'll be sending a blast out with a link to it, to everybody, okay? And also a link to this video that will be posted on Oceanside Chamber's
YouTube.
YouTube channel.
Did I miss the page ID you were gonna show us where to find that?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of important, right?
Yeah, it is important. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I have a screenshot, but I have a screenshot over here that I can show you.
Because that serves almost like you're in a, I don't know how to put this in Google terminology, but your website address, it's the discrete address of where your page lives in the Googleverse,
Google
right?
Plus system, right.
And that's what I was gonna ask is, can you claim it like you can in other places?
Right here.
Claim it with your own name?
Oh, it is. Google created it for you and it belongs to you.
No, but I mean, can you replace, because on some of them, like on Facebook, you can claim your facebook.com/your name, and LinkedIn the same way. Can you do that on Google Plus?
No, they just have this ID. You can
Okay.
hide it under a link with anchor text. So
Okay,
you can do anchor text over this link.
okay.
Okay, but here's
They
the,
don't let
But you can't
here's your
change
ID.
But they don't let you do it, yeah.
Vanity
Yeah.
URL.
Right.
It's
No.
Personalize it or something like that, okay.
No. It's under Tell the World. You'll find Tell the World on that big page that I showed you, the Getting Started page. There'll be a click there, so Tell the World, and there'll be this, and that's your number. And when you go like to add this, you're gonna use just that number by itself to their system. Your page ID is that number. And it says there, this is the link to your page, distributed everywhere you communicate online to encourage people to add your page to their circles so your posts will appear in their stream. So that's the guy. And you're actually looking at one of the sections of the ebook, so it's in the ebook.
So sort of back to the question in the first row, and I can't remember her name, but social media manager then, if you're gonna manage multiple social media, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, there are instruments or tools for doing that. Do you know about them?
I myself haven't used them, but yes, I do know
Okay.
that they're out there.
Yeah, like
They're
Hootsuite,
sweet.
and then there's Sprout Social, and there's other
Mhm.
ones, but I just wonder if there's anywhere, or,
I don't know, I imagine they'll be integrating Google Plus in there right away. I would think it'd be, but if they haven't already. Yes.
I have a question about, is there a way to change your email address when you set up your Google Plus? For instance, I set up the Google Plus account right away under my personal name, and now would like to change it, if it's possible, to a business name. So where you had in the beginning about, would I just need to set up a new Gmail address with the business name, and then is there a way to would I make myself like an admin with the new email address and transfer ownership versus deleting my page, because we've had our page up now for a month, but I haven't done much with it. I mean, there's postings on it, but I haven't done much with it because obviously I wasn't really sure. So it's under my personal name. Yes, it may have the company logo, has the company tagline, company image, but it still has my name.
If you haven't done much with it, it'd be good to get a fresh start at this point, because this is all just the beginning.
So if I've done more than like a couple of posts and I've invited a couple of people, but
Then you can turn around and re-invite them back over
okay,
together and get them
to
moved over.
the
Yeah.
page. Okay.
That's what I would do. I have not seen any tools for doing that. There's a transfer of ownership, but I think the email account goes with it. See, when you do the transfer of ownership. That's my impression. I haven't tried it yet,
Okay. All right.
whether you can change that. You gotta remember that core email account becomes kind of your ID to that whole little world.
That's what I was wondering with the transfer, when you had it up on the screen with the transfer of ownership, if that meant that I could literally transfer the page from my personal account to a Gmail address that I set up for the
I
business.
think it has to do with that core account too, so that's what you would also be transferring, which is why they recommend you create this generic
Okay.
Gmail account.
Okay. Right.
So that it is something that you wouldn't mind transferring, because it's not your personal. So basically, they're saying, don't put this on your personal Gmail account.
Now I know. A little too late.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Now you know. Anybody else? Okay, we have to be out of here at 4 o'clock, so we have a half hour to chit chat, ask questions and stuff, and we're gonna be sort of cleaning up as you do that. It's kind of like a networking time if you wanna ask any more questions, but we're basically done. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.